All right. Well, we've talked about some of the top talent.
Yeah.
Now, Tom Crawford, who's going to be coaching him?
Do you want me to start out with what I want to have happen, or let me start with what I want to have happen. I want, I'll be brief. I'll be brief about. I just want Jim Harbaugh to leave. I text and sometimes phone call former Michigan players that I've gotten to know. And I was texting with BJ Dickey today, and it's like, okay, here we go again, death taxes and Harbaugh flirtation with the NFL rumors and all that stuff. And it's just like it's a fatigue thing, and I really think it's a momentum snuffer, if you will, that he's done this now 2 years in a row, and I think his integrity, the fact he's reportedly had a 2 hour virtual call with an interview yesterday with the Denver Broncos. I'm curious to know where did that take place? Was that from Jim Beckler Hall? Did you do it in your car? Did you do it at your house? I mean, some of these things are just weird. And I'm as a fan, I'm going to think from a fan standpoint. I just think it's time for him to move on and to keep that outstanding staff and that outstanding culture, mind you, intact. Promote Sharon Moore to head football coach. That would be my druthers. I know Mike Hart would be a viable candidate. And I actually think, John, that Blake Corum is returning because I think he knows that Mike Hart's returning. And I think Mike Hart returning is actually more important to him than Jim Harbaugh returning.
Yeah, that very well could be true. And let me offer a little bit of the other side of it. I get your feeling. I understand if that happens and Michigan was able to keep most of the staff together. I would be okay
Would you
with that.
sign up for that? Would you sign up for that? Somebody put that in a. Okay, John, you can have Sharon Moore. The staff is pretty much, you might lose one, whatever. Would you sign up for that right now and say deal?
I would say that would be option 1B. Option 1A would be this: Harbaugh gets the big time deal. Okay, you've proven everything you need to prove to us. We're going to rewrite this contract. You've won the
You
Big
said
Ten
that
2 years in a
You
row.
did that last year.
I get it. I get it. But what I'm saying is that you do it in such a way that he feels an assurance and the type of love that makes up for the 2020 snub. And believe me, I'm a cynic in this regard because in some ways I see this current Harbaugh situation as John Beeline 2.0. I mean, once John Beeline started thinking NBA, as far as I was concerned, he was going to be gone. And the very next year, after he had the NBA flirtation, he was gone. Okay, it was like that was what he wanted and what he saw as his next step. We know Jim Harbaugh still has an interest in the NFL. Is there anything that Michigan could do to make it such that Jim finally says, you know what, this really is the place for me? Has a Bo Schembechler moment, because look at you haven't had. I saw this came up today. The back-to-back top 3 finishes in the AP poll. It's been the late 40s in Michigan football since that happened. Look at what he's accomplished. Look at what he has going. And I get it. This is
in year 7 and 8, he did that, John. In year 7 and 8.
In years 7 and 8. Yep, okay. I understand.
Okay.
But he's there now. My point is he is there now. And would you rather build on this as long as you can?
He doesn't want to be there. The thing of it is, I don't want somebody who doesn't want to be here. And he's showing that he doesn't want to be here. He's not fully committed. It's like people, you're renewing your vows. Yeah, let's stay married another year, but hey, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, it's almost like it's everything with him is a disclaimer. You know what I
mean?
Nobody
knows the future, honey.
If I meet somebody else, hey, I might be gone, but you know what? Hey, but let's renew for another year. I mean, as crazy as that seems, I mean, that's what it is. And I, Harbaugh is a good coach, okay? But of those 4 teams in the CFP, what was the least prepared team? Michigan. Michigan was the least. This dude has lost 6 bowl games in a row. Okay. His team got rolled in the Georgia game. I get that last year. They were better, but they had no reason to play like that. In that first half, you're down 21-3 to TCU that absolutely got obliterated by Georgia last night. I mean, that game last night where Georgia beat down on TCU was basically a bad look for Michigan. I mean, we heard it all over the place. I mean, my God, how did Michigan get beat by this team? His team was not prepared. It starts with the head coach, right? If he's getting paid the big bucks, making $10 million a year, starts at the top, right? So I mean,
There's no
I mean,
doubt.
are you, John? I don't mean I respect your opinion. So, but you think this is the best Michigan can do? I guess I have higher standards than
I
that.
think this is the best Michigan has done since 1997.
And that's pretty sad.
So I'm not saying it's the best Michigan can do, but
There you go.
it's not as easy as it looks if you look back at what you've had here, especially in the years leading up to Jim Harbaugh coming here.
But you
And
know what?
we say okay, you're 7-8. I get that, but he had Ohio State beat in 2016, and that would have been year one of this type of level of success. And then I think they lost their way a little bit. Defensively, they lost their way, and quarterback wise, maybe they lost their way. And now they've found those things, and I really think they could have a 4 or 5 year stretch here where they could be playing at knocking on the door, making the playoffs every year. It's going to get a lot easier. We've noted that, but making the playoffs every year and being one of the handful of teams that is considered a threat to win it all. And I totally understand. Georgia looked like it was going to destroy anybody last night.
Well, I get that. And Michigan probably would have. They stay within 28 of them. They would stay within 28 of them instead of whatever that number was. Okay, 58. Okay,
65.
My point is this: I'm a walk in your shoes kind of guy. Okay, so I'm the parents of a recruit, a 2024 recruit, or even the 23 recruits that are maybe coming in at the end of the year. Okay, so what am I going to think that this guy flirted last year? He's doing it again this year. So if he re-inks again, as Michigan just sits there on like a stalled vehicle on the side of the road, I'm talking about administrative wise, waiting for this guy to figure out what he wants to do this year. How much confidence would you have this program is going to stay unified? Because when a head coach leaves, typically a lot of guys go with him. That's kind of how that works. And then if you got an outside hire, you got a complete reshuffle of the deck. You got a complete new offense. The portal is going to be, filling up. And I mean, so walk in the shoes of a recruit right now. So when you're sitting here, on whatever this day is, June 9th, June 10th, whatever this day is, what's in your mindset? I mean, how can you trust this guy when he does not definitively say, I'm not interested in any NFL job? If that's so he believes, he always wants to flirt with it. Okay, where's the trust in Jim Harbaugh and the parent of a player?
It hurts you, no question. It hurt you last year. It will hurt you
Look at the
this year.
Now. I mean, my God, you're coming off the second Big Ten championship. Your recruiting is pathetic compared to what it should be. For what it should be. I mean, look at Georgia last, and I know Georgia's but this is Michigan cavernously is so far behind them talent-wise. Did you know Georgia, the 85 scholarship kids, they have 65 kids that are 4 and 5 star, 65 out of 85. You at least got to get a little closer in that, particularly when you're leveraging back-to-back Big Ten titles and CFP appearances. That to me is being stymied by this flirtation. This should be we should be just all excited, leaping forward. Oh, Harbaugh's got it cooking, but no, we don't know who the coach is. That's how you open it. It's crazy.